How's it going, everybody? My name is Jason. I'll be your host today on this CFL talk show, Hussey's Huddle. Here at Hussey's Huddle, we cover everything about the CFL, including a lot of free agency and draft stuff coming up really soon at the conclusion of our series on the best player from every Canadian USports Program, which we continue with today with the OUA, the second half of the OUA. And I have to say, this is the most exciting group of talent we have seen thus far on the list. So I'm really excited to talk about this today. But really quickly, before we get started, if you enjoy the CFL content like this, consider subscribing and liking the video, as it helps me get it out to more people on YouTube, and I would really appreciate it. With that said, let's go and get into it. Guelph had some nice up-and-coming players to choose from, but Mechie is the strongest bet out of the bunch. A native of Nigeria, Mechie moved to Canada at a young age, growing up in Brampton. He would attend Guelph from 2014 to 2017, where he produced a solid resume on some great Griffins teams. In his senior season, he produced 76 tackles, 1 interception, 1 sack, and 1 forced fumble in 10 games. He would enter the 2018 draft, where he'd be selected by the Calgary Stampeders in the 3rd round. As a rookie, Mechie was caught in a tough depth chart situation behind other Canadian defensive backs like Tunde Adeleke, and barely played. But after Adeleke's departure after that season, Mechie was able to take over Calgary's starting safety spot, leading to a great breakthrough season in 2019. He would finish the season with 55 total tackles, as well as 3 interceptions. He showcased plenty of potential range and coverage, so there's a lot to like about his future potential. One other interesting fact about Royce Mechie is that his younger brother, John, is currently a wide receiver for the Alabama Crimson Tide, who are currently competing for a national title. Some honorable mentions for Guelph include offensive lineman Ryan Bombin, who is, at this point in his career, just a good veteran presence along the offensive line if he would to sign with the team. And then running back Johnny Augustine, who has been effective when he's been called upon to get carries behind Andrew Harris in Winnipeg over the last few seasons. With all due respect to other candidates, the McMaster selection was obvious. Chris Van Zyl played for the Marauders from 2004 to 2006, where he would be a standard at defensive tackle. In 2007, he would enter the CFL draft with OUA eligibility remaining and be selected by the Alouettes. Van Zyl would, however, not make the team's final cuts and would return for an additional season at McMaster, where he would capitalize, earning first-team All-Canadian honors. This led to the Alouettes bringing him back in 2008, but again he would be cut. However, his CFL journey took a major turn when he was signed to the Argonauts practice squad in 2008. There, he began to convert to playing offensive line. By 2009, Van Zyl would get his first starting opportunity and capitalized on it, locking down Toronto's right tackle position for the large portion of that season. As the years progressed, he continued to grow, eventually becoming a 2-time Grey Cup champion and a 2-time CFL All-Star as a member of the Argos. In 2019 free agency, his decade in Toronto came to an end, with him returning to his university stomping grounds in Hamilton. In his opening year with the Tiger Cats, Van Zyl produced his finest season of his career, anchoring a prolific Tiger Cats offense as a brick wall pass protector. His efforts were recognized not only by being a CFL All-Star, but by winning the league's Most Outstanding Alignment Award. Van Zyl, who is 37 years old, is one of Hamilton's many scheduled free agents come February. A couple guys to mention for McMaster: fullback Declan Cross of the Toronto Argonauts has done a really good job fulfilling his role and is actually kind of a sneaky weapon out of the backfield as a receiver. And offensive lineman Cody Speller of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers has filled in very well as a versatile offensive lineman that can also play center. He even filled this role when center Michael Couture went down at the end of the 2019 regular season and ended up starting at center during the team's Grey Cup run. Big shout out to the Laurier Golden Hawks, who have done a tremendous job in recent years of developing CFL talent. Case in point, the biggest star of them all, Kwaku Boateng. Playing for the Laurier from 2013 to 2016, Boateng was the second-team Canadian All-Star in his senior season, recording 6.5 sacks. Despite this production, Boateng was slept on when he entered the 2017 CFL draft, falling to the 5th round, where he'd be picked up by Edmonton. What has occurred since has resulted in one of the CFL's best draft selections in recent memory. Boateng immediately became an impact player along the edge at defensive end, collecting 21 sacks in 52 games over his first 3 seasons. Honestly though, those numbers don't do justice to Boateng's value. He consistently gets pressure and wins his matchup, both versus the run and the pass. This all comes with the added bonus of him being one of the league's only true impact Canadian defensive linemen. I eventually plan on releasing a top 25 list of the best Canadians in the CFL prior to the 2021 season, and spoiler alert, Boateng will be pretty high. A big honorable mention section here for the Laurier Golden Hawks. Linebacker Chris Aki has been a really consistent starter in the CFL, even though he's not the most flashy player. Linebacker / defensive back Isaiah Gazilek-Messam has really come into his own as a guy that can both cover, blitz, just be this hybrid kind of guy in the CFL game. He's still young, so he has a long way to go in that regard. And then defensive end Robbie Smith has been very promising. One of the few promising defensive linemen to come out of Canadian USports in recent years. Waterloo Warriors football program has had a strong revival recently, with players such as Jesse Gibbon and Tyler Tanowski being selected in the past few years. However, Hoover began that CFL wave for Waterloo. He attended the school from 2013 to 2016, leading the entire country in interceptions with 5 in the 2015 season. Hoover entered the 2017 draft with ball-hawking skills and was selected by Edmonton in the 4th round. The defensive back contributed mostly in a backup rotational role in his first 2 seasons, but in 2019, he took over Edmonton's safety position, playing in all 18 games, registering 53 tackles, a sack, and a pair of interceptions. Keep an eye on Hoover as a fascinating young Canadian to watch in 2021. Not much to say in this section, but Gibbon and Tarnowski are both super young players, both for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Gibbon was even the number 2 pick in the 2019 CFL draft, and he saw some playing time as a rookie, but we shall see if he extends into a starting role in his second season. Western has produced plenty of active CFL players, but Bergman is the true standout. Playing at Western from 2009 to 2012, Bergman anchored a dominant Mustangs line that helped produce USports' leading rusher during the 2012 season. Bergman would enter the 2013 draft, and like many Western Mustangs, he found himself drafted. However, it was not early, with the offensive lineman having to wait until the 6th round. Bergman's development at the next level has been nothing short of outstanding. While injuries hampered his first season, he did make one start, and by year 2 in 2014, he was a full-fledged starter on a serious Grey Cup contender. He would go on to start and be a part of Calgary's Grey Cup championship at the conclusion of that season. Over the next several seasons, Bergman developed into an absolute rock up front for Calgary. Though other starters have changed, Bergman has been the one constant on one of the CFL's best offensive lines. He became a 2-time Grey Cup champion in 2018, and the last time we saw him in 2019, he received his long overdue selection to the league's All-Star team. Bergman, like many stars, are set to enter free agency later this winter. A lot of honorable mentions for Western that I could say, but 2 that stand out are wide receiver Shaq Johnson of the BC Lions, who we actually talked about a lot as our McGill selection in the Quebec USports Program video. So go check that out when you're done this one. And then kicker Liam Hauerlahu, who actually just signed a deal with the NFL's Carolina Panthers last week, but because of some strange visa issue, he's actually unable to play for them. I hope that works out for him, but if not, I'm sure he'll get a CFL roster spot in 2021. Last but not least, we have my alma mater, the University of Windsor. And while there hasn't been a ton of CFL talent developed by the Lancers, we have one very bright hope for stardom, Drew Laurier. Born in Belle River, Ontario, Laurier would decide to stay local for university, attending Windsor from 2015 to 2018, starting 27 games in all. The offensive guard was seeing an absolute spike in his development in his senior season, where he dominated on his way to becoming one of the top players in the OUA. His rise on the field translated to the draft board, where he was one of the CFL's #1 rising stars for the 2019 draft. Despite reported NFL interest, the draft stock of Laurier stood strong, and Winnipeg selected him 4th overall in the first round. After gaining playing time very early as a rookie, Laurier took over the Bombers' starting left guard spot down the stretch of their 2019 Grey Cup run. From rewatching his games from last year, it is clear that he has the potential of a plus run blocker in this league, and his development in pass protection should be something to watch as we look forward to seeing his second season in 2021. So that concludes today's video. I'd like to thank you guys all for watching. If you want to support the channel, the best way to do it is just by smashing that like button and subscribing to Hussey's Huddle for more CFL content just like this. Got a lot of exciting things on the horizon. We're really looking forward to it. Let's go CFL, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.